It's week 2 of the Earth to Marissa podcast. Welcome back. I hope you are having a beautiful weekend. Some little housekeeping. So the podcast is going to start being released on Sundays. That feels really good. And I am just kind of finding the structure of the podcast right now. And I think what would be so lovely, I have this beautiful planner that I use. It's by, Wave, W-A-A-V. We are all visionaries. Ain't that the truth? And each week it has at the top weekly self-care plan, which I love. It has goals, and then it has a place where you can put a quote of the week, and instead of a quote, I just do 2 affirmations that will be with me through the week. And so I would love to start sharing those and kind of just invite others to think about that. You know, what is your plan? You know, if you have a busy week coming up, what's your plan for self-care? And if you have a slow week, you know, how can you dive further into self-care? And then affirmations are just always nice, what's present for the week ahead. And so I think Sundays will be really good for doing that. And then each week, I also want to pick out a symbol card from the deck that I have been channeling and continue to channel, plus a crystal. And then we'll dive into the topics for this week. So, this week, October is starting. This will be dropped on September 29th. And, yeah, that means 2 days until October. Does anyone else feel like 2024 literally flew by? I have no idea where it went. So many ups and downs this year. It's been a doozy. So if you relate, yeah, you're not alone. And so this week, I'm actually recording this early because I will be out of town next week, and so we're being productive and doing that. And so I'll just share what I've been vibing with this week and how it's sitting so far, 3 days into the week. So self-care plan, morning movement. I'm really trying to start off my mornings with a nice grounding practice. I have a little health regimen. I do very clean, very liquid, heavy mornings to detox and cleanse. And so I wanted to add, with all of that liquid pouring out, just grounding. And it's good to just get your nervous system in a good place before you start any day. And grounding is a big part of that. So morning movement, and yesterday I danced. Today I did some yoga, and I'm excited to see what else comes through. I try not to put like a heavy label on it. It gets to be whatever you define it as. So morning movement can look like a ton of things. And then I'm trying to do gratitudes every day. Just keep my vibration up through gratitudes. It's easy to get away from the things that we are able to be grateful for in our lives. And so every night before bed, either as I'm laying in bed or during my nighttime little breathe down meditation, wind down, I should say, I've been really focusing on, okay, what today can I be grateful for? What can I hold in gratitude? And how can I raise my vibration before I enter into the dream state? And then the third one is something that I have noticed a lot. It's breathing when I feel rushed. It's really easy for me to get into a rushed state of being or a fast-paced go, go, go momentum. My masculine is very strong in that realm. And my masculine energy will just kind of really take the wheel, and I can get really caught up in that energy. And so I'm trying to, change that pattern, and doing that by breath. So when I notice I'm in that state, which usually it comes on pretty quick. I'm pretty self-aware when it comes to certain things that I do, completely oblivious to other things. I think everyone has a little bit of that, but I'm very aware of when this rush state comes on. But at first, when I started experiencing it, I was just kind of ignoring it. And so, just really taking a moment to breathe and calm my nervous system down, because feeling rushed, fast-paced movement, over time, it can be really, it can corrode the nervous system. And so, just trying to remember to breathe, and I have been doing that. So this week is set up good, and the quotes that I'm working with, or the affirmations, are I am safe to receive. And if you listened to last week's podcast episode, you will understand how that came forward. Be sure to check it out. Just every morning, or when I remember throughout the day, just I am safe to receive, and then taking a moment to open up my energy field to receiving. The second one is I trust in my body's ability to heal itself. I trust in my body's ability to heal itself. That feels good. That feels expansive. And I am so grateful for my body. Our bodies are so powerful. And so if you're moving through any health situation, any body situation, this is a great affirmation to bring yourself back to center and bring yourself back into the knowing that your body can do anything. If you created it, you can uncreate it. Same with your body. So those are the affirmations and the just weekly self-care plan this week on this beautiful Sunday. And when I sat and I asked, what is the collective that watches this? What are they moving through? And mastery came up. The mastery symbol. Mastery as an energy. Very powerful. It means we are moving through some shit. We are learning. We are being asked to change. We are being asked to really meet energies that have been maybe present in our life before, and use the tools that we have learned to move forward in a different way and to master this energy. And so the mastery card for me, it feels like this energy that comes in and supports you in positive pattern structures. And so usually when we're mastering something, we are being met. Again, it's not the first time we've been met with the situation, the experience, the problem, the challenge, the whatever you want to call it. It's not the first time. It might be the third, might be the second, might be the fifth, might be the 20th time this has come forward. And so if you find yourself in a state of repeating patterns and you're kind of sick of it, use this mastery card or symbol to come in and really give you it kind of reworks your energy, and it positively creates patterns that are healing to the situation or the experience, and it opens you up to new ways of moving through, of dealing with, new ways of responding. It just really brings in that knowledge and lights up almost this pathway of mastering whatever you're moving through. So you can visualize this symbol, draw it, meditate on it. And fluorite is the crystal that came through with this card, and fluorite is very much so a focus card. It's clarity crystal. It's a clarity crystal. It helps you to really hone in and release the just energetic fog that might be blocking your clear view. And I love that it got paired with the mastery card, because the mastery symbol does very, very much a similar thing. It kind of goes in and it shows you how you can move forward in this new way. And I love how this pairs so beautifully with what we will be talking about today. So feel free to use that symbol. Grab a fluorite if you have it. I'm going to hold mine today. And let's dive in. So last week, if you listened to the podcast, we talked a little bit about leaning into the challenge. And I want to expand on that this week and just share where I am doing that in my life and share what has been coming up in hopes that it will help you. My intention is always to just come to this space and share what I'm learning in hopes that you might pick something up and it will help in your life. This is a space like where we are all growing. I am not sitting on a high horse or on a stage, girl. I'm with you, sitting in the crowd. I am constantly learning and trying to soak in as much as I can to just live a better life. And I want to share these experiences. And so, where am I leaning into the challenge? Well, the unknown right now. I am being met with really sitting in the unknown. I left my job recently, and thank God, I am loving that. I am grateful. I am so happy that I brought that through, and Spirit was like, girl, do it. Make that decision now. And that leaves me sitting in this unknown. I want to move out of the field that I've been in for several years and into something different. And as I've been sitting in the unknown, I've been sitting in how can I find passion, follow my inspiration every single day, and allow that to light up the way of where to move forward. And it's been great. However, the unknown, when you are surrounded by energies that don't quite understand the quantum, or they don't understand how your reality works, or how you choose to believe your reality works, it can be a little hard because judgment can get thrown at you. Just not being accepted can be really felt. A lot of fear can be projected at you. And I'm specifically talking about family members, okay? We all got them. We all have family. And it can be really difficult sometimes. You know, I choose to surround myself with like incredible friends that support me in all that I do, and will be honest, you know, when they're like, I don't know if I can support that. But I don't usually make, you know, like crazy decisions like that. Usually pretty, like my friends are very understanding of the way I have set my reality up to work, and it's because they live certain lives, or similar lives. But with family, we don't get to choose our family. And I know that I have come here to kind of transcend a lot of the familial patterns, if you will, and mastering, you know, this symbol, mastering what it feels like to be the black sheep in a family. And how can I use this challenge, or what I see to be a challenge, as a tool? Where can I lean into it and see it as something that's extremely positive? And that's what I want to talk about today too, is just where can you turn these challenges into a tool? How can you use the blueprint of what you've been given and change that and perceive it as something that can actually help you and help you anchor into your most beautiful life? Our greatest challenges are often our greatest gifts. And so in that, I had a moment of feeling really judged recently because I'll kind of give the breakdown. I left my job, and then I have 2 weeks, basically 2.5 weeks, and then I'm leaving for a vacation. And to me, it doesn't really make sense to look for something. I wanted to use those 2 weeks to really anchor in, come back into my own energy, and it has been absolutely lovely. Just feeling myself, room to create, room to just be. But of course, when you have a businessman of a father, he wants you to find a job quickly. He wants you to already have a job secured, wants you to, have insurance, have benefits, have the 401k, have the retirement plan, blah, 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 blah. And sure, whatever. I see how in his reality that makes sense. However, in my reality, it doesn't. Make sense for me to just try and get something when I'm about to leave for a vacation. To me, my energy is more important, and making sure that I come back into self after a very long stint of ignoring myself due to a 9-to-5, yeah, that's more important to me. And so I'm doing that. However, that creates a lot of judgment, and that's something I get to master too, is this being perceived, being judged. When I know what is absolutely best for me right now, I can still get a little rocked by what other people think I should be doing. And when I was sitting with this, I really felt this wound come up of being a little girl and just not feeling accepted by my father. I did sports growing up. I golfed, and I always felt a lot of pressure from him to be a certain way, do certain things, to love certain things. And I felt this absence of just pure acceptance. And this runs deep in my mom too. I have felt this for a lot of my life. But I thought it was really interesting. Usually when it comes to inner child work and when it comes to healing, it's a lot of my mom's stuff. God love her. And I'm grateful to really be in a space where our relationship is in a better place. However, every time something comes forward, I'm like, there she is again. And so, yeah, this time it was my father that came forward. And two, with my image and my body growing up, he kind of always had something to say as well. And yeah, I just felt this pain of this little girl that just wanted to be accepted by other people and wanted to be accepted by her dad and her mom. And when I see that that is at the root of this challenge, if you will, of being judged by family, I can also see that this is a tool. How can I fully accept myself? And when I'm not accepted by others, can I come into a state of self-acceptance, a state of self-love, and anchor that in so strongly that it doesn't really even matter if I'm accepted by other people, because I accept myself so much. And I know so deep within me that I am held, that I am powerful, and that I follow what is best for me, and because I do so, I am always taken care of by the universe. So that's the tool, right? Lean into that challenge. Don't just accept it for what it is. When it arises, lean into it and soak up the medicine of what's presenting itself. And two, with the unknown, I kind of went into a different area of, we started with the unknown and then we ended it with my parents not like feeling not accepted, but coming back to the unknown, instead of meeting the challenge of sitting in the unknown and being scared and having fear come forward, and I've been there, I've done that, it's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable, and it's not what the unknown energy wants. It's not what my higher self wants to do when she feels the unknown energy. And I've sat with her recently because I'm like, okay, how do you want to work with the unknown feminine spirit? And she's like, I want to just create. I want to create everything. This is so expansive for me. This is so, like, she feels so at home in the unknown. And so instead of seeing the unknown as a challenge, I'm leaning into this unknown energy, leaning into the void, leaning into this dark space, and allowing creation to flow through me. Because anything is possible in the unknown. Limitless potential is fed by the unknown. There's no limits. It's just expansion. And two, if you're into human design, I'm a reflector, which is the 1% of the population. And I don't know much about human design, I'll be real. I have a friend that does human design, and she gave me a little reading, which I'm so grateful for. Shout out to Jacqueline. And the reflector energy type loves the unknown. And I was actually looking it up a little bit before I started this podcast, because I just wanted to make sure I have my shit right. Because I know what it is in my body, and I know what it feels like to be a reflector with what I have learned, but sharing that with, I just wanted to fact check and make sure I'm not misinforming anyone. Because, when you have a mic in front of you, you better did your homework. So I love the energy of a reflector, and I'm so grateful that this is the energy type that my higher self decided to put me in this lifetime. And being a reflector, reflectors, I'll just read a little bit. It's the ultimate chameleon, able to be everything and anything they desire. Following what lights them up and excites them at any given moment allows them to feel surprised and delighted by life. Yes. Let's see. The magic and the brilliance of reflectors live in their adaptability and the openness within their energy field, allowing them to sample, feel, and experience what surrounds them. So basically, I'm a sensitive bitch. Plain and simple. I walk into a room, I feel everything. And reflectors, don't try and label them. And it even said later in the article, I can't find where I should have highlighted it, but now we know, that, don't try and label, don't try and put a reflector in a box, because they can't. It does not happen for them. And with these sensitivities, I even saw that as a challenge at one time. I was so sensitive, feeling everything. I'd walk into a building, feel dead people, feel spirits like messing with me. And it made me really scared at one point. But I have just come into a state of like, this gets to be such a powerful gift. I can feel immediately whether someone is going to be beneficial in my life or not. I can feel immediately whether an environment or a community will be supportive to me or not. I don't have to sit around and learn it, like some other people, because they might not be sensitive. I can feel it immediately. And that is a huge gift. And so the unknown is like, that's probably why it feels like home to my feminine spirit. It's because I get to be absolutely anything. There are no labels in the unknown. There are no expectations in the unknown. There are no limits in the unknown. And so as a reflector, I can use this as my greatest gift. Use the unknown as my greatest tool to create anything that I desire in my life. We are powerful creators. We are powerful beings. And I and you can truly be anything in this lifetime. And so that's how I am leaning into the unknown now, just accepting my energy and where it wants to play. If it wants to play in the unknown, okay, let's do it. Let's do it, and let's just trust so deeply that whatever we need will come whenever we need it. And that whatever I need to know, I will know exactly whenever I need to know it. And then we get to play. And we get to move forward. And we get to move through life being held and being loved. And yes. And just another place where I'm leaning into the challenge is being asked to stay in the place where I grew up and in the house that I grew up in. So long story short, basically I sold all my things and did car life for a little bit a couple years ago for about 3 months on the West Coast. I was planning on moving to a different state right after that. However, I came back for some family medical reasons, and I ended up staying with my parents to help take care of the family, and I've been here ever since. And I thought, for a while, I was like, okay, this will be it, and then I'll leave. Okay, maybe I'll get a job here, because that doesn't seem, and I just keep asking Spirit, like, is it time yet? Like, let's go. I don't want to be here. And I stopped myself from surrendering and just being present with this place and the magic that it might hold for me. And I then anchored in a little bit. I really made my room my own again, cleansed the energy, which is wild if you have ever experienced your childhood room and getting to just remap the energy and cleanse it. It is a wild experience because I was a very depressed child. And so that room always just gave me the ick after moving out. But now that I'm back, I get to reclaim and redefine it. And that was really beautiful. But I'm still here. And then Spirit, after that seasonal job that I took on a farm, I was like, okay, this is it. I'm really leaving. And Spirit brought forward this job. And I cried for about 2 hours when I realized Spirit wanted me to take this job, which is my last job that I previously left. Or I'm sorry, that I previously had and just left. And yes, I had a hard time accepting that. But Spirit was like, you're only going to have it for about 6 months. And I was like, okay, well then why the hell am I even taking it? A lot of stuff came forward. I now understand why. But, even after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to work here for 6 months and I'm going to leave. And so I'm just being met time and time again with spirit wanting me to stay in this place and wanting me to stay at my parents too. I've thought about moving out, and it's coming. It's coming. I feel it like down the pipe. If you're intuitive and you're sensitive, I would love to know if you can feel things like that, but I feel it coming through. And so, yeah, instead of seeing it as a challenge, instead of getting upset and crying again, because I'm asked to stay here and to find work here somehow, some way, I'm gonna lean into it, and I'm gonna know that this is leading to expansion, that this is leading to growth, and that this might be exactly what my soul needs right now. Because the past couple years that I've been here, I have been supported, and I'm very grateful for that. And I have been held, and I've been able to rest, which is what my soul needed after that journey of a road trip. And it is what my soul needed. Just this rest state while I expand and I grow, and I can feel energies are ramping up. And so I'm just going to sit and trust with that. Lean into the challenge, lean into the medicine that's present, and see it as a tool. I get to stay at home right now and save some money. That's awesome. I still pay rent to them, but it's not the amounts that you see out on the town. And so, yeah, those are just some personal stories of where I have been leaning into the challenge. And I really want to talk about too of when we are presented with these moments or these challenges or these experiences, or we feel judgment from someone, or we don't feel accepted, or you are dealing with the unknown. Really watch yourself. And watch when you drop into blaming. Watch when you drop into self-shaming. And watch when you drop into the victim mode. Ooh, the victim mode. It's easy to fall into. It's a trap. Don't do it. The victim mode is so easy for us to get wrapped in, because it feels so good to feel like none of it's our fault and that life is just doing this to us and we don't know why, and I'm just gonna pout and wallow in my shit because I can't change it. It's just being handed to me and life's not fair and blah, 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 blah. No, honey. Knock, knock. You're the creator of your reality. Just soaking that medicine in for my own self right there. It's reclaiming and stepping into radical responsibility in every moment. Radical responsibility. You're the only one that chooses what you do. And I had a beautiful mentor kind of call me out on this one time, because I was like, I moved back because of them. And she was like, honey, you moved back because you chose to move back. You chose to move back and you chose to stay. That is your decision. And I was just like, oh shit, okay. Whew. So, just notice where you might be playing victim to the things that are happening in your life. And don't judge yourself for this. Don't judge yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Just gently notice, come to the realization, and choose to move out of it. And you can take that into self-inquiry as well. It's important to stay empowered in our power when we are traversing what we feel are challenges. And staying in our power, one of the best ways to do that is through self-inquiry. It's like, okay, who am I blaming right now for this situation? Me feeling judged, I immediately blamed my father for that. However, he hasn't necessarily even, he's projected things and I can feel judgment energy coming from him, but he hasn't outright said. It's been very passive judgment, if you will. And so I noticed that I was blaming him for me feeling judged, when in all actuality, I was the biggest one judging myself. I was the biggest I was the biggest one holding judgment over my own being for the decisions that I'm making, for how they definitely don't go with what my parents want me to be doing right now. And so I get to notice that. I get to take a step back, use the fluorite, use the mastery symbol, kind of see, okay, what am I being asked here to master, and how can I bring clarity into this? And by noticing and recentering, you then are staying powered within your center and your own source. And same with the self-shame. Sitting in a place of doing things different from society, and two, this comes back to reflectors, like we are always going to probably look a little different. We're always going to be doing things a little differently. And we're always going to be, I don't want to say the odd one out, but we work different than the rest of the population. And so instead of seeing that as the challenge, I'm going to lean into it and be like, yeah, that's an incredible gift. Are you kidding me? I'm part of 1% of the population that is this sensitive, that sees the world like this, that works and operates with all channels open. Like, holy cow, that's a superpower, right? And so instead of self-shaming myself when I am different, when I need and have to spend so much alone time to just cleanse my aura, because reflectors are constantly taking in energies of their environment and the people that surround them. And so they need ample alone time to kind of recalibrate and remove that energy. When I have to spend that time alone, or I have to take extra time in the mornings to really come back into myself, or when, I do look different and my aspirations are different than what, my parents grew up wishing their daughter would be, I'm not going to shame myself anymore. And I'm going to watch when I do go into self-shaming. You should be something different. You should be this way. You should be consistent like everyone else on, YouTube or Spotify, or like the other spiritual people. Like, they do it this way. Why can't you do it that way? It's like, whoa. Hey girl, calm down. I love you. I see you. I hear you. And let's take it to inquiry. Where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? And then once I find out, I can recenter and maybe delete the story that my ego is running, change it. I can change the pattern by doing something different. I can release the trauma that made me feel this way. I can hug the insecurities and bring them into my heart space. And I can release the fear that might not even be mine. I I can release the emotions that maybe were never mine to begin with in the first place, the stories, the patterns. So self-inquiry is one place to stay empowered within your own power. Meditation is another. Breathing, cleansing your chakras, cord clearing. That is really good. Just constantly bringing yourself back into a state of being able to feel your own energy is how you can really stay empowered. And two, how I really stay empowered is holding the vision. When I go into a kind of spiral, or last night is I felt a lot of that judgment energy coming from outside of myself, which then turned into internal judgment. It kind of knocked me off my center. And so this morning I was really working to just come back into my center. And the biggest thing that lit up my energy was holding the vision. Holding the vision of my reality. Holding the knowing of how energy works, how the quantum field works, how we are energetic beings having a spiritual experience on this beautiful planet, how my channel works, and how spirit has always had my back. I had a mentor one time tell me when we were doing abundance work, and she was like, have you never not been held? Has there been a moment in your life where you have not been held financially? Be honest with yourself. And I was like, holy shit. No. I've literally always been held. Wow. Like, think to yourself right now. Has there been a moment where something has really not worked out? And then, you were just lost in the sauce and, no, when something doesn't work out, I am pretty sure you are still always held. Might be a little bumpy, might be a little rocky, but I'm sure you are always taken care of and led to exactly where you need to be. So I get to hold that vision. I am always held. I have always been supported. Jobs have always come to me through word of mouth, and so I trust and know that that's what's going to happen. That the perfect job does exist. That I will be able to create all of this beautiful content and really focus on my business while also being supported by another part-time job. That is the reality that I create. That I'm going to be held. I am safe because all that I need comes to me exactly when I need it. And all that I need to know comes to me exactly when I need to know it. Thank you, Erin Lyons. Shout out to her for that beautiful remembrance code. I was graciously reminded of that in one of her recent podcast episodes. Yeah. So hold the vision. Hold the vision of the reality in which you live in. When you start to judge it, when you start to judge that reality, or you start to judge where you're at, or you start to judge what you're doing, hold the vision of where you're going and what you know is true for yourself. And one of the biggest things that we can do, too, when we are met with these experiences, these challenges, is to learn how to stay neutral. This is a very big topic, and I have heard a lot of beautiful spiritual beings talking about neutrality, and it's true. It's a big topic because there is so much truth into it. It's where we are learning to go. It is 5D, if you will, or whatever you want to call it. It's the higher way of working with energy. And when I say higher, I don't put it on a pedestal. I mean, literally the frequency of neutrality is vibrating at a higher frequency than like low, fear or pain or discomfort or any of those words or emotions, feelings that we may experience. And so when something happens, how can we stay neutral to it? And just see it as an opportunity for growth and expansion. You know, even when yesterday, for instance, literally the most random thing occurred. I was driving and this horrible sound started occurring out of nowhere. I was on the interstate going to my location. I was like, you know what? I'll be there in like 8 minutes. I'm gonna just drive on it. It'll be cool. And it was like really bad. At first, I thought it was one of the songs I was listening to. Shout out Alice Phoebe Lou. Love her. Oh my God. Her live Frankenhouse, I think is what it's called, album. It's what I was listening to. And I've listened to it before. And this noise started coming on, and it did kind of sound psychedelic. And so I was like, that's funny. I wonder what instrument that is. And then like I turned it off and it kept happening. And I was like, oh, that's not a part of the live album at all. LOL. That's literally my car. Great. So anyways, before I went home, because interstate, I was like, I should not be driving with this on the interstate. And so I went in, and the entire time I was staying neutral, which was really cool actually, and bringing it back to, I think, why mastery came up. Because an old version of me definitely would have been super freaked out, definitely would have immediately gone into like, fuck, how much is this gonna cost? My car, like, am I even doing the right thing? Like, no. Like, when this happened, the confidence that I had, the immediate knowing, I was like, okay, where am I located? I'm downtown. Car places. Oh, I know that there's this car place. We're going to take it there. They're going to figure it out. It's going to be perfect. And I'm not even worried about it. Like, not even worried about it. I was just like coming at it from a place of curiosity. And when you can hold neutrality in situations, curiosity is a very big component to that. Instead of immediately going into the definite, we can stay neutral by holding the question. That's kind of weird. That's an odd sound. I'm sure my car is fine. Like, I'm still driving on it, it must not be that terrible, like it's okay. Yeah. Like, it's a little odd. We'll just take it there. And so curiosity, if we can stay in that curious headspace instead of immediately defining it as positive or negative, then we stay in that nice little circle of neutrality in between the two. And so anyways, yeah, I took it to the car shop. Pretty chill. I was like, yo, this is happening. And I love women that work in car shops. Praise you. Thank you. I feel held, I feel seen, and I feel heard by you. And so I walk in and there's a woman sitting there. I was like, thank God, because I'm not trying to deal with, I don't know, if you've ever, you might know, in America, many car mechanics are male and they don't always listen or take women seriously. Not trying to put a blanket statement out there. It's just a well-known fact. And so, and I praise and I love the men who do take women seriously in car environments. Thank you so much. I love you and I am grateful for you. So, walk in. It's about 30 minutes later. They had to take my brakes off because they couldn't see it when they took the wheel off. A little rock, I shit you not, it literally was smaller than this fluorite, and it kind of looked like fluorite, which I thought was really funny. And my friend, even, I sent her a little video of the rock, and she was like, why does that look like fluorite? And I was like, literally same. So I think it's interesting too that this came forward today with the card. And so yeah, this rock just got wedged in my brakes. No biggie, making this horrible sound. And you could see like lines in the rocks where the brakes were touching it. So anyways, yeah, I just, I paid $37 for that rock. And I made a little joke. I was like, well, I go into rock shops a lot. And $37 ain't too bad for a rock. Let's be real. These crystal shops out here charging like fucking $5,000 for some rocks. Okay, $37. That's a cheap rock. I'm going to take it. It's cute. I put it on my little wall. I have a little thing hanging above my desk in my room. And I put it in there so I can just remember the awful sound that created and the blessing that it was just a rock. Just a rock. And so, yeah, holding neutrality and just staying curious will really help you. And while I was sitting there, I just kept dropping into this leads to expansion. This must be aligned because I only live in alignment. So this is helping me in some way. I might not see it, I might not know it, I might not feel it, but I deeply can trust that this situation is helping me in some way or another. It's expanding me and it is aligning me with my highest and best timeline because that is how I work, period. And that viewpoint will continue to lead to a beautiful reality that you get to experience. Lean into the challenge, find the beauty in it, find the tool, find the gift, find the little rock, and your reality will start shifting immediately, rapidly. Alrighty. Thank you so much for listening. I feel like we are at a good stopping point. I'm going to go ahead and probably do a little channeled message from Spirit and just see what Spirit has to say about challenges, leaning into the challenges, and how we can work with challenges right now. So that will be live on my YouTube channel. Hopefully this week when this is posted. This will be posted on Sunday the 29th. So be sure to check out October's energetic update, which is going live on October 1st. So 2 days from when this is posted. And then I will drop that channeled message on my YouTube probably on the Thursday or Friday, which is October 4th? October 3rd, October 4th, we'll do that maybe. And then be sure to, I did film a womb activation for last week's podcast episode. So if you have not watched the womb activation, be sure to give that a watch. It was extremely powerful and I was feeling all sorts of things while it was going on. So definitely check that out. And if you want to connect with me, if you want to book your own light language activation, Akashic Records reading, or Reiki healing with me, go to my website. It's in the description below. And follow me on Instagram if you want to connect more. Check out YouTube if you're listening on Spotify. And I am just sending you so much love as you start October. October is a birth month, so definitely very powerful for taking action, starting new things. Divine connections and alignments will be coming in. It's a reminder to be patient with what is being birthed and allow trust to really anchor you in for that birthing. So a very exciting a very exciting month, and definitely tune into that for more of the channeled messages. But until then, I hope you have a beautiful week. And definitely find some affirmations that fit with you this week. And take care of yourself. Much love. Bye for now.